Okay, so come and stand somewhere in the middle of the mat. Make sure that there's room behind you and around you. Stand with your feet a little bit wider apart than your hips, with your toes turned out. Spread out the balls of your feet, spread out the toes so you have a sense of connection through the feet. And then we're going to start to swing. And the swing doesn't come from the arms. The swing comes from the center of your body, from the hips and the spine. Now, when we swing, there should be a sense that you are slightly bobbing up and down because the knees are bending ever so gently, but to allow them to act a little bit like shock absorbers. But also, when you bend the knees, you can feel how the feet are articulating with the floor. Even though you're not moving the feet at all, you can feel quite a lot of activity into the soles of the feet. Now, the arms swinging are just a consequence of you turning from side to side. And I want you to concentrate on allowing a sense of freedom and lightness through all the joints, the structures of your body, but particularly your spine. So let your head turn freely on the top of your spine. So when you turn side to side, there's a sense that you're almost looking out completely in the opposite direction behind you. Now, where your arms go is completely up to you, but you might find that the front arm just gently taps the side of the rib cage, and the back arm just lightly taps across where the kidneys are. Now, if this doesn't happen, don't force it, but there is a sense that the elbows are kind of bending a little bit, and you've got a little bit of movement. This encourages more movement across the upper chest, you might notice. So keep letting the head turn freely. If you want to close your eyes, you can. Just watch your balance. And you can go as quickly or as slowly as you like with this. But what I love about it is it gives you a real wake up. It's really good, especially in the first thing in the morning. We talk about this on the Thursday morning class as well. Because what happens is if we leap out of bed and jump onto our yoga mats, our bodies, particularly the structures that hold the joints together, the ligaments and the connective tissues, are not ready for a strong stretching practice. And you can actually do a little bit more harm than good if you were to come straight onto your mat and start doing some really big forward folds, for instance. So what we're doing by these little movement practices at the beginning is just gently waking the body up, getting the body used to standing up and being upright, and for those ligaments that have become soft during the night to begin to toughen up again, so that they can be supportive. And when the time comes to stretching them, they'll stretch in a safe way. All right. So now we're going to gently slow this down. And we're going to take a slightly different arm movement now. And this one will feel a little bit weird. So we'll do it slowly, we'll do it together. So you're going to take the arms up, out to the side. And then one arm's going to come behind you and the other arm's going to come across. So you're sort of doing this movement. The feet stay still. Then it's back up to the center and out to the other side. Up to the center, out, up and out. So let there again be a little bit of rotation that happens. It's like you're pausing in the middle this time. But there's more of a reach. And if you want to think about reaching, you can reach into your thumb and index finger side of your hand. So think about that happening as you swing side to side. Don't worry if you get it wrong. I was doing this with my daughter the other day and I was like, it's a bit like doing the floss, isn't it? She was like, no, mummy, it's nothing like doing that at all. But I thought it was quite similar. Okay, so you're going up to the middle and out to across to the side, up to the middle, out to the side. So there's more into the upper chest here. So keep breathing. Good. And we're going to do just a couple more on each side. Lovely. And then come back to the center. And this time, we're going to swing the arms in front. We're going to lean forwards just ever so slightly. And the arms swing across the front of the body, alternating which arm is in front. All right? Doesn't matter which way that you're going to go, but then the next time you're going to swing your arms into an eagle position so they look like this. If you can't manage this, hold the opposite shoulder with your hands. Now gently lean forward slightly and draw a circle with your elbows in the air. Now I'm not worried about what the arms are doing, I'm actually worried about what your shoulder blades are doing. So let your shoulder blades move freely across the back of your body whilst you do this circling. And then do some circles the other way. Just concentrate on the back of your chest, back of the lungs being free. All right, now keep the arms in this position. Let the elbows move away from you and begin to lean forward so you round your upper back. You're going to take 3 breaths here, breathing into the back of your shoulder blades. And as you breathe out, gently relaxing, releasing, and you might find that you can lean a little bit further forwards with the elbows. Don't strain here. So breathe in, the back domes a little bit more, breathe out, elbows move away. One more breath. Good. And then you can release and come back to that swing. So that little bit of a lean forwards, a little bit of softness in the knees, remember. Okay, so the legs are never dead straight. Good. And then you've got to remember which way you went. And you're going to go the other way. So when you're ready, bring the arms into the cross the other way. You can stand up but keep softness in the knees. Couple of circles in each direction. Just freeing up the back of your shoulder blades. So change direction now. Good. And then move the elbows away. Chin towards the chest a little bit. 3 big breaths into the upper lung space on the back of your body. Here, do 1 more breath. Lovely. And then back to that swing. So release and just let it swing out. Nice. And then making sure you have got some space. We're going to change the circles. So one arm is going to go backwards like this. So make that happen without you having to think about it. And then go forwards with the other arm. Very nice. And then slow it down again. You could do a couple of swings from side to side. Remember your shock absorber knees. And then we'll do the other side. So a few backward circles with the other arm, and then let that happen without you having to think about it. And then go forwards. Okay. Looking good, everyone. Well done. And then swing it out side to side. Super stuff. Okay, come to a central point. And then I'd like you to take your ear towards one shoulder and then turn your head to look down towards your hand. You might see your hand, you might not, doesn't matter. Then sweep your chin across towards the center and lift your head up. Then drop your ear towards the other shoulder. Turn your head slowly so you're looking down in the direction of your hand, and then sweep the arm in a semicircle back to the center. Do this once more on each side. So drop ear to shoulder, turn the head to look down, roll the chin towards the center of the chest, and then lift the head. Last one. Over to the side, looking down and sweeping around. And then keep the sweep around so your nose is drawing a circle in the air in front of you. And just take a couple of turns. Okay. And then come back to a central point and do a couple of turns, drawing a circle in the air with the tip of your nose. Good job. Okay, well done everybody. All right, so you're going to come to the back of your mat now, and you're going to slide your hands down to the floor, crawl the hands forwards, take the knees super wide, big toes together, drop the bottom towards your heels, and you can bow yourself down, maybe make a pillow for your forehead to rest on. And where your knees are in space is entirely up to you. If you can have them wide apart, go for it. But if you need them closer together, then that's fine as well. And if kneeling is not for you, then you could lay on your back instead. Now again, we're going to pause and breathe into the back of the body. So back of the heart space, fill up the back of the lungs, even right down to the kidneys. Feel the back of the spine inflating with your breath. And as you breathe out, it's softening back down towards the hips, and the hips are feeling heavy towards the heels, and your body weight's feeling connected to the earth beneath you. All right. Okay, so can you slide your fingertips forwards now? And have a little bit of a reach through the hands, through the fingertips. And on your next inhalation, lift yourself up to an all fours position and pop the knees underneath the hips. Walk the hands over towards one side, please. So you're coming into an all fours side stretch. And you can look back in the direction of your feet if you can see them. Just take a breath in and a breath out here. Again, breathing into the side of the lung space now. Breathe into the side of the waist. On the exhalation, return your hands back to the center and walk them over to the other side. Just going as far around as you can. Don't force this. Make sure that you are able to breathe with relative ease and that you're breathing into the side of your body. Good job. Inhale, and as you exhale, come back to the center. And then I want you to come up onto your fingertips, please. So you've got a tripod hand, so just your fingertips which are on the mat. And then walk your fingertips forwards as far as you can go. Take your bottom backwards as far as it will go. And start to drop your chin and your chest towards the ground. So the wrists are high. The fingertips are the only thing which is on the floor. If the chin and the chest comes down to the ground, great. But don't worry about it too much if it doesn't. We're just looking to create a little bit of extension into the upper part of your spine. So breathe in, breathe out here, and then use your tummy muscles to lift you up again and walk your fingertips back in towards you. Very nice. Okay, if you have a brick or a block and you want to use that underneath your left knee, you can support your left knee with it now so that you can step your right foot forwards. Okay, so we're onto a lunge, into a lunge. We've got the right knee roughly above the ankle, and we're going to lift ourselves up towards an upright position. Try not to have the back thigh vertical, try to have it at a slight angle, please, if you can. And we're going to think about lifting the front of the hips and making sure that they are nice, this whole area of the body feels nice and stable. So tailbone pointing down, front of the hips lifting up. With the hands on the hips, that can help. And you're going to keep the front of the hips lifting, but lunge the hips down, okay? So don't lose the lift to the front bones of the hips, okay? And then come back out of it again. So come down, and then come up. Good. Now release your right hand down, and I want you to almost touch the floor. If you touch the floor, great. If you don't, doesn't matter. Just let the arm hover. Left arm is wherever you want. So I've got my left hand on my hip, and I'm just looking to feel a bit of a stretch in the outer left hip here. If you want, you can take your left arm up to the ceiling and make this a little bit of a stronger stretch, but don't force this, don't overdo it. Then from here, keep turning the body to the right and bringing the left elbow to the outside of the right knee and placing the palms together so you can look down towards the end of the mat and take a little bit of a twist here. Very nice. Okay, come back to the center. Release the hands and step the right foot back. You can swap the block over. If you haven't got a block, just roll up the side of the mat if you need a bit of extra padding for the knee. Making sure there's that angle to the back thigh and that the right knee is above the ankle. And then lifting up through the front of the hip bones, but lunging forwards. And just do that a couple of times so it starts to feel like you've got a stretch on the right hip, but not too strong. And you've got stability around the corset of your pelvis and your lower abdomen. Okay, so now we're going to think about dropping the left fingertips to the floor. If they touch the ground, don't worry. If they do, brilliant. But you're looking for a stretch down the right-hand side. And if you want to take the right arm up and encourage a little bit more of a lean over to the left, go for it. Take a breath in here. That's nice. And you're going to turn to the left, right elbow to the outer right knee if you can, or you can use your hands, and then palms together to look towards the back of your mat. Take a breath here. Very nice. And then back to the center. Place the hands on the floor, step the knee back, take the block away, and then drop the bottom back towards the heels again. Okay, so the head bows down this time, body nice and soft. So we're feeling pretty warmed up now. We've warmed the hips, we've warmed the side body, the spine's feeling really good. So now I'd like you to inhale. Let's float up to an all fours position. And have your fingers your index finger pointing forwards, but then turn your elbow creases so that they turn forwards as well. Now I want you to look forwards. I don't want you to look down at the mat because otherwise that's where you're going to go. When we start to work into a back bend, we need to look forwards or look up rather than looking down, okay? We want to move forwards in life. So we're going to look forwards, turn the inner elbow creases forwards, and I want you to bring your chin and your chest down to the floor in front of your hands. So if you're not sure of the position, look at me. So I'm looking forwards and I've got my hands sort of alongside my nipples. Then you're going to inhale, you're going to come up. So it's like a little mini press up, back up, right? So let's do this again. This time tuck the toes under for a full Ashtanga Mudra, so full 8 limb position. So inner elbow creases forwards. Remember the elbows bend backwards. They don't bend out to the sides because that will hurt your wrists. So elbows bend backwards. They stay within the edges of the mat. So elbows go back, but the gaze is forwards and the heart goes forwards and down. Okay, and then coming back up. Good, we're going to do it one more time and I'm going to watch you this time, okay? So when you're ready, elbows, creases, forwards, look forwards and bring the chin and the chest down. That's great, that's really nice, everybody. Good. And the thing is, it's really important to match these movements to where you're able to go. Okay, coming back up. So we're going to come into a forward fold here, all right, sorry, into a back bend here, don't want to talk about. So turning in the elbow creases forwards, look forwards, and I want you to lay yourself completely down and to slide your legs back So you're into a position for Bhujangasana, for Cobra pose. Untuck your toes, point your toes backwards, press the tops of the feet onto the floor, firm the legs, firm the inner thighs. Keep looking forwards, breathe in, lift up, and even though you're lifting up, there's a sense that your heart wants to move forwards. So there's a lightness in the hands. You're not too heavy in the wrists because your spine is doing loads of the work here, all right? And the legs, of course. Take another breath in, and as you breathe out, gently come down. All right, let's do this again. So breathing in, thinking about coming up, firm the back of the legs, engage the muscles on the back body, and move the heart forwards. Gaze is softly forwards too. There's no rigidity here, okay? There's a lightness within the strength of the pose. Good, and then soften down again, and you're going to lift up to all fours. Good, tuck under your toes and find yourself coming into a downward dog. All right, so we've put some of the building blocks in place for our practice this morning. So have a little bit of a pedal, a little bit of a dance of the hips from side to side. And let's start to piece some of these things together. So let's look forwards, let's walk the feet up towards your hands. Doesn't matter if they get all the way there or not. Separate the feet about hips width apart. Let the head fall down, the chin come towards the chest. And then slowly roll yourself all of the way up to stand. Good. Bring the hands to the heart. Close your eyes. Settle back your body weight back into the soles of the feet. Tiny bit of softness to the knees. But all four corners of the feet engaged. And set a personal intention for your practice this morning. How are you going to use this practice to feed and inform the rest of your day? All right. So as we think about our sun salute rounds that we're going to take now, just keep reminding yourself of your intention and use that to fuel your own practice. So as you breathe in, start to lift the hands up and separate the arms wide as you take a little back bend, nothing too big, but it's as though you're gently embracing the day and whatever the day has to offer you. Then as you breathe out, bring the palms back together, bend the knees and start to fold down, hands traveling down the center of your body, all the way back down to the ground, letting the head hang. Hands come to the shins, just below the kneecaps. Arms straighten, and again you look forwards, and there's a sense that you're always moving forwards. Gently hang the body back down, leave the right foot where it is, and step the left foot all the way back down to the end of the mat. Now you can stay here, or you can pop your knee down onto the floor as we did earlier. Coming up onto up into a lunge, a higher lunge, and breathe in. And again, as you take the arms up, open them out wide a little bit. Find that lovely embrace, that readiness, that greeting of the day. Spread out the fingertips. Bring the hands back to the heart. Lean forwards. Turn a little bit to your right hand side. If you can, left elbow comes to outer thigh, outer knee. Press back through the left heel, look back towards the right elbow. Good, come back to the center, place the hands back down onto the floor, step back into a high plank position. Okay, so knees come down, keep the toes tucked under, look forwards, inner elbow creases forwards, move the heart, the chin and the chest comes down and in front of the hands. Then the heart goes forwards, the hands don't move. Heart goes forwards, toes untucked, Bhujangasana. Elbows in. Coming down, lifting up, hands and knees, tuck toes, and you're back into a downward dog. So really nice and smooth. Let the sit bones move back, let the head hang down. Right foot lifted up to the sky. Step it through towards the top of your mat again. Here we back up, breathe in, coming all of the way up. Hands wide, and then we're going to take a bit of a challenge because we're going to step forwards from this position. So you can either bring your hands to your heart or hands to hips. So take a breath in and then gently bring the feet together. Sit the sit bones down, bend the knees, and then lift the hands again into that lovely wide position. And look forwards, lifting your heart, Utkatasana. Breathe in, keep the arms nice and wide open. Come into a little bit of a back bend, maybe a deeper one. And bring the day into your heart. Palms come together in front of your chest. Pause here, breathe. Okay, so let's do the same thing again. Breathe in, arms come wide, open up, chest opens, greet the day. Think of your intention. Breathe out, bring it down into your heart and all the way forwards. Separate your feet if that helps you to fold with more ease. Hands onto the shins, breathe in, halfway lift. Very nice. Exhale, fold. Leave your left foot where it is this time. Big step back with the right foot. You're going to come up, breathe in. Arms nice and wide. Remember, you can put your right knee onto the floor if you need to. Hands come to the heart, little bit of a lean forwards and turning to the left so the right elbow can come to the outside of the left knee and you're looking back towards the end of the mat. Taking a breath here, very nice. And then bringing the hands, I think we're going to come to the hands to the floor. So you can step back to a downward dog. Nice long body. And then float shoulders over the wrists, legs nice and strong. Knees come down. Inner elbow creases turn forwards. Lowering chin and chest, but looking forwards. And then lifting heart forwards, toes untucked. Bhujangasana, shoulders back. Coming up into a downward dog again. Very nice. And then left foot lifts. And step it through to the top of your mat. Breathing in, coming up again. Arms nice and wide. Opening, greeting. And then we're going to step forwards. The feet come together. The hands come to the heart if you can, or hands to the hips. And then keep the legs in this position. Squeeze the inner thighs. Breathe in. Open up. Stand up. Take a little bit more of a back bend. Squeeze inner thighs. Send hips forwards. And bring hands to heart. Good. Close your eyes. Breathe. Settle. All right, so let's add some bits in along the way. Okay, breathe in. Hands come up, fingers spread. Greet your lovely, beautiful day. All the possibilities. Breathing out, bending the knees, come all the way down to a forward fold. Head hangs. Hands onto the shins, halfway lift. Breathe in. Hands come to the floor, leave right foot where it is, step back, left foot, all the way down to the end of the mat. Breathe in, sweep arms up and wide. Remember, you can put your left knee down onto the floor here. Palms come together. Even if you're just turning with your hands at your heart, this is fine. If you want to bring the elbow to the outside of the knee, go for it, but don't force this to happen. Remember, you can put your back knee down on the floor whenever you like. Okay, so we're making this just a tiny bit deeper now. I want you to bring your left hand to the floor on the outside edge of your right ankle. If it doesn't quite get there, grab a block or a brick and give yourself some extra height. So put a brick on the outside of your ankle. Take your right arm up to the ceiling now. Good. Then cartwheel the right arm alongside your ear. So you're into a revolved Parivrtti Parsvakonasana. So extended side angle with a rotation. Look towards your right thumb. Good. Now, can you cartwheel your right arm backwards And as you do this, lift yourself back up into that lovely big balancing warrior. Nice. Palms bow down to the floor. Step back to downward dog. Very good. Well done. Okay. Just let yourself pause it out here for a moment. Rest if you need to rest by coming into child's pose. All right. We're going to come straight into doing this on the other side. So what I'd suggest is that you float your shoulders forwards a little bit. You bend your left knee and step your left foot as close to your hands. Give it a helping hand if it doesn't quite get there. So we're going to do the same little sequence with the left leg leading. All right. So when you're ready, breathing in, coming all of the way up, pressing back through the right heel, greeting the day. Hands come to the heart, little bit of a lean forwards, turning to the side, and then turning round so you've got your revolved lunge happening. Okay, so you could stay here, or you can take your right hand down, or you're using a brick to put your hand or your fingertips on the outside of your left leg. Left hand up to the ceiling, please. Use that to help you pivot round. That's nice, stay there. Good, look up towards your thumb. Then if you like, cartwheel the arm along. So if this is too hard, you can leave your right hand in the middle of your mat instead. Cartwheel the left arm alongside the ear and look towards your thumb. And breathe. Good job, everybody, well done. Okay. Now gently returning, placing hands either side of the feet and stepping back. Good, have a little bit of a pedal here, a little bit of a dance of the hips. And then we will float the knees to the floor. Untuck your toes, rest in child's pose. Maybe turn the palms up as you bow the head down forwards. And breathe, very nice. Keep breathing. Okay. So let's take a little stretch forwards with the fingertips. Take an inhalation and float up to all fours. Tuck your toes under, downward dog, please. And just settle, making sure that you feel that the spine is easy, the head can hang with ease, that there's no tension in the neck or the shoulders here. We want to use the traction of being in this sort of semi-upside down position to allow for space and release of any tightness, especially around the neck and the shoulders. Okay, so you're going to take the right foot up to the sky again. Step it up towards the top of your mat. And then bring the left foot up as well. So you're back into a forward fold. Hang yourself down. Let your back of the legs begin to open up just a little bit more. And we're coming into Utkatasana. So the feet need to come together, okay? So you can have the feet apart, but work the inner thighs accordingly. So when the feet are together, it gives you the opportunity to squeeze the inner thighs and the knees towards one another. Now remember that when we come into Utkatasana, we keep the bottom low, we lift the chest, we're creating a back bend. Now what you do with your arms is going to be up to you here. Initially bring them to your heart, so into prayer pose. You might like to bring them up. It doesn't mean you have to look up in between your hands. You can keep your gaze forwards. Of course, the heart is lifting, the sit bones are lowering. This is great for strengthening the legs. Then we're going to bring the hands back to the heart. We're going to forward fold halfway down. So the bottom is still staying nice and low here. The inner thighs are squeezing, towards one another for Ardha Utkatasana. Turn to the right, and if you can find the elbow around the outside of the knee, go for it. Turn your body to the side, and maybe just stay in this revolved version of Utkatasana. Very nice, everybody. Good, breathe in, rotate a little bit more, and breathe out back to center. Hang down to the floor for a moment, and then come back to Utkatasana with the hands at the heart, half Utkatasana, and do the same on the other side. So elbow to the outside of the left knee, or you can use your hands, remember. You're just looking to create mobility, particularly in your upper back, so across the thoracic spine. Keeping that area mobile is going to be really good for the health of the lungs. Come back to the center, release the hands, and let yourself roll gently up to stand. Feel the strength building in the legs. Reach the arms all of the way up into that lovely big embrace. Imagine you're gathering the sunshine itself. Breathe in here, and as you breathe out, bring the sunshine into your hands and down into your heart to stand for a moment with your eyes closed. Good job. Breathe. Okay, so think about your intention. Keep it there in the forefront of your mind for your practice. And then let's take another big breath in. Let's open the arms up wide in that lovely gesture of openness and willingness to receive. Bring the hands to the heart again. Come into that half Utkatasana. So bend the knees, let the sit bones drop, let the heart come as low as your hips or thereabouts. Right, so big body weight into the right leg. So big move here. You can keep your hands here and just do this in a forward fold, or you can bring the left elbow to the side of the outside of the right knee and do it that way. Body weight into the right leg. Start to lift the left heel off of the floor, everyone. So how you come back into this, I don't mind. You're going to step your left foot back all the way to the end of the mat. And then you're back into this revolved Utkatasana shaped lunge now. Very nice. Good. Doesn't matter how you get there, just get there safely. Okay. So Joe, if you can, tuck under your left toe so you can press your left heel backwards. The left heel is off the floor. I know that makes it harder, but that's going to be better for your pelvis in the long run. Yeah, it's going to make you wobbly. You're going to have to use your core a little bit more. Okay, come back, hands to the floor, and step back into a plank position. Oh, doesn't that feel nice now? Knees down. Inner elbow creases turn forwards. Chin and chest come down to the ground. Heart moves forwards and up. Toes untucked. Bhujangasana. Come down a little bit. Lift up hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Good job. Okay, look forwards. How you get to the front of your mat is up to you. You can walk or you can jump your feet lightly up. Take your time. Breathe in, come all the way up through the center, open the heart up wide. And then half Utkatasana, so Ardha Utkatasana, same thing as the other side. Sit bones lower down, inner thighs squeeze. It really does make all the difference. Turn to the right if you can. If not, just have your hands at the heart and stay facing forwards. Body weight into the left leg. Start to lift the right heel off the floor. Find your balance. And then slowly as you can, take the right foot back. Try not to wobble too much, she says, and keep turning out to the left. Very nice. Okay, one more lovely breath here. And then gently releasing back to the center. Hands either side of the front foot. Step back to that plank position. Good, knees on the floor, untuck toes, rest back down. Little bit of child's pose, just soften it out for a moment. Relax shoulders and wrists. Easy breath. Okay. So let's have a little bit of a play with a couple of new additional poses now. All right, so slide the fingertips forwards. Inhale, float all of the way up to all fours. Tuck toes, downward dog please. Gently let yourself pedal out. And just feel how the hips and the hamstrings and the legs are beginning to open up here. Sweep your right foot up to the ceiling, please. And step it through to the top of your mat. This time, spin your left heel down to the ground. Keep your right knee bent above your ankle. Big cartwheel to the left arm comes up and over. Right arm lifts, Virabhadrasana 2. Okay, so however you get there, come into this position. Back leg nice and straight, outside edge of the foot nice and strong. Take the left hand back to the left thigh and cartwheel the right arm, bring it out behind you, maybe turn to look to the end of your mat. Then forearm onto the right thigh and cartwheel the arm alongside the ear, look at your left thumb. All right, let's do that again. So cartwheel back, reverse warrior, left hand onto thigh, right arm cartwheels alongside the head. Good, and then back into your Parsvakonasana variation. Look, thumbs, reach left side of the body beautifully long. And then come back to warrior 2. Very nice. Straighten the front leg, put the hands onto the hips. Okay, so we're coming into triangle pose. So I'd like you to move your right leg back a little bit so you're not so long in your standing position. The heel of your right foot needs to be behind the instep of your left foot, so there's a straight line between the two. And then turn your body properly to the left. Arms come up, shoulder height. Reach forwards towards the top of your mat and bring the right hand down, let the left hand lower onto the shin. Look up towards the left thumb if you can. If it's too much for the neck, just have, or that you feel wobbly, just have the gaze out to the side or down to the floor. Beautiful. Take another lovely breath here. Breathe into the side body. Good. Then looking down, inhale, come back up to all fours and bring the hands to the hips. Okay, so we're going to transition into a standing balance and we're going to use maybe a block for this. So if you've got one, just have it on its end on the floor, slightly in front of your right foot. Where it is exactly doesn't matter so much. We're going to come from a warrior 2 leg position into bringing the right hand down. Now the left hand can rest on the back body and your focus is on lifting this left leg. So you can come up onto the tiptoes initially and then start to float the left foot off of the floor. So you can see what I mean, where you put this block is up to you because you don't want it too close to your foot because it won't be very easy to balance. So stay where you're at, keep lifting the left leg, okay? So everyone's coming into it different, yeah, that's it. So come in, right hand on the block, and then I want you to turn your left toes to point to the side, please. So the toes aren't pointing up in the air or down to the floor, they point out to the side, and this will encourage you to stack your left hip on top of your right hip. Now, if you want, you can lift your left hand to the ceiling. I'll turn around this way so I can see you. And so you're making a great big, lovely star shape with your body. And you can turn your head slowly and look up towards your hand if you wish to. Good. Now when we come out, bend the knee, step the back foot long down to the end of the mat, and you're back into your warrior 2 shape that we started with. Straighten the front leg, take the hands to the hips. I'll turn around so I'm back to where you are. Okay, so we're going to change the leg position. So let's take the right hand down to the floor, spin up the left heel, step back to a downward dog. And we just use the downward dog to neutralize, okay? It's a great settling pose. It's a great pose for just bringing back stability and symmetry to the two sides of the body. All right, so another breath here. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Same little sequence. So bring the left foot up to the sky and step it through to the top of your mat. This time spin the right heel down. Now you can always take the feet longer, you can take the feet wider if you want more of a challenge. Bend the left knee and cartwheel the right arm all of the way up and over so you're into your warrior two position. So just come into it really lovely, like a really kind of natural, smooth rhythm to it. Okay, so we're reverse warrioring. Right hand comes down, left palm turns, and we cartwheel the arm, and it's as though we're wrapping it around the top of the head. Keep the left knee bent. Then cartwheeling the forearm onto the thigh, the right arm alongside the ear, and there's this lovely long stretch down the right hand side. Backwards again, right hand comes back, left arm lifts up, wrapping it around, reaching the fingers towards the back of the mat, and then back into your forward forearm onto the thigh. Nice. Come back to warrior two. Good. Hands to hips. Change your foot position. So you'll want to probably shorten the distance and straighten your front knee. Triangle pose. So the body needs to face towards the right side of your mat. Arms come up, legs stay straight. Tilt towards the top of the mat and bring the left hand down. The right hand goes up and you breathe here. Just take a few breaths. Back leg nice and strong, outside edge of the foot. We're not in Ardha Chandrasana yet, so keep your foot on the floor. Got some super keen bees. Okay, so we can come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose from here. Bring your right hand down onto the side of your waist. Bend your left knee. Take your brick. Have it on its end. It just needs to be somewhere in front of you. Lift your back heel off of the floor. Start to take your body weight into your left leg and begin to float the right leg off of the floor. Remember, the toes turn to the side. You're pressing back through the heel and you're stacking the right hip on top of the left hip and the right shoulder on top of the left shoulder as much as you can. Don't worry if you're a bit wobbly on this side. Right arm can come straight up to the ceiling as and when you're ready, and you can turn to look towards your thumb if you like. Good. Take a nice big breath in here. Very nice. Looking down slightly, bending the left knee, striding the right foot as far back down to the mat as you can, and then spinning up the back heel as you bring the right hand and the left hand to the floor. Step back to downward dog. Have a little pedal. Good job. Pressing back through the hips, spine long, head hands. Good, and knees come to the floor, untuck your toes, take a little bit of a rest. Okay, so breathe into the back of your body. Okay. All right. So when you're ready, start to slide your fingertips forwards again and float up to an all fours position and come up to kneel, come to sit. Good. How are you all doing? All okay? Nice. I love this. This is the international now. Instead of diving, it's now zooming. See people thumbs upping or thumbs downing. Okay, good. I hope you're all okay. Feeling nice and strong in your legs. Not quite done yet, everybody. Okay, so one more little thing to do. So come back to your all fours position. Okay, so I'd like you to tuck your toes under. Take your bottom backwards into a downward facing dog. Okay, so we've done quite a lot to stretch the outer hip. I want to just give a little bit more stretch to the front of the hip now. So I want you to take your right foot up to the sky. I'd like you to bend your knee and bring your heel in towards your bottom, please. And as you do this, really press your left heel towards the floor. So it doesn't matter how high the right knee gets, but really give a stretch down into the calf and the Achilles on the left leg while we're here. Then I want you to turn your body to the right. So turn your hips primarily and let your right foot fall out behind you. You can look underneath your arm, out to the side, and you're going to feel this nice big stretch all the way down the right hand side and into the right hip, hopefully the front of the right hip. Very nice. Now gently come back to the center and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So take the left foot up to the sky. Bend the knee and really press into the right heel. So if you can get the right heel onto the floor, you might be able to a little bit more easily when it's one leg. Then looking under your left arm, stacking your left hip on top of your right hip and turning your body. Keep the arms nice and strong and long, pressing into the right heel, left leg floppy. Breathe. Good. And then come back to center. Left foot comes down to the floor. Knees come down to the floor. Untuck your toes. Rest. Rest your shoulders. Rest your wrists. Rest your head. Okay. So we're going to play with one more variation of this, which takes us into a little bit more of a back bend. So we're going to come back into downward dog. So when you're ready, float back to all fours, tuck toes into your downward dog position. Okay, so you might need a little bit of space either side of your mat. So if you're very close to walls or furniture, that sort of thing, just, yeah, sorry, there's a few of you just shuffling about a little bit. Some of you getting extra down dog time, so don't you panic. Okay, we're going to do the right leg first. Let's do exactly the same. Bring the right foot up to the sky. Bend the knee and bring the heel towards the bottom. Stack the right hip on top of the left hip and look under the right arm. So we've got that lovely openness across the right hand side of the body. Now we're going to change it slightly. Keep the leg in this position, but float the shoulders forward. So we're lifting the left heel away from the floor. And then if you can, you're going to spin on the ball of your left foot and you're going to bring your right foot to the floor behind you and lift your hips. Your right hand has come off of the floor and you're reaching your right fingers in the direction of the top of the mat and squeezing your bottom, squeezing your glutes, lifting the hips high. And then the really fun bit is coming back. So you've got to spin on the left foot, lift the right foot up to the ceiling, right hand comes down and back into downward dog. Okay, how you're doing, bring your knees down to the floor. Okay, Good. I'm gonna. Are you all okay? So wave at me if you're smiling. That's the main thing. Smiling, sweaty. It's all that. Those are the things I'm looking for. I'm looking for smiles and sweat. All right. I want a little bit of you going. Yeah, come on. This is the day. This is the start of the day. All right. We will do this on the other side, and I'll promise you that's it. She says. Okay, so sometimes this is called wild thing. Okay, so I want you to bring that wild thing element into this. So back into downward dog. Okay, left foot lifts up, heel towards the bottom. Stack the left hip on top of the right. Look under the left arm. So you could just stay here, or you're spinning on your, shoulders come forwards a little bit. So you lift the right heel off the floor. Then spin the toes anti-clockwise. Bring the left foot to the floor behind you. Lift the left arm off of the floor, reaching the left arm in the direction of the top of the mat and lifting the hips to the floor, nice and strong. Breathe in. And then gently coming back. So you're flipping back over, left foot lifts up. Right heel presses down, and then foot to the floor, knees to the floor. Let's come back straight away to lying on our backs. So just come down, lie back, head relaxed. Okay, take a big breath in through the nose, and then I want you to blubber your lips as you breathe out like a big. And you're going to do this 2 more times. So breathing in. One more time, breathe in. Good. And then just soften everything. Just let the back of the body start to sink and settle. And while we're here, I'd like you to bend your knees. Bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees open out wide to the side. So you're into Supta Baddha Konasana, diamond-shaped legs. Arms can be up around the top of your head if you like, or you can leave them resting out by your sides. Just spend 1 minute here, please, breathing softly in and out. If this brings your lower back, however, into a position that you are not enjoying, then please just lie with your legs out straight. Okay. So a couple more breaths here. And we're going to work with a little bit of bridge pose. So I'd like you to float your arms down by your sides again and bring your knees back to the ceiling. Keep your feet on the floor. And we're going to work with a little bit of a neck release here. So if you're finding that you're carrying a lot of tension in your shoulders, in your neck, in your jaw, particularly these kind of areas, we tend to carry a lot of our tension there, don't we? Then this is a great thing to incorporate into a daily routine for yourself. So we're going to start with our traditional kind of bridge pose. And like all the best things, it just has this lovely simplicity to it. So the bridge position for the legs means that the feet and the ankles are hips width apart, and the heels you're walking the heels in towards your body, but not like overdoing it, not straining this movement. And then you start by just rocking your head from side to side. And this rocking of the head with your head on the mat enables the occipital and the muscles around the occiput to release. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come back with your head in the center, and you're going to lift your hips an inch or two off of the floor. And you're going to do the same thing, just rock your head from side to side, and you're looking for softness in the jaw. As soon as any tension in your jaw comes in, I want you to lower your hips back down to the floor and just totally rest. Now lift your hips another inch or two away from the floor and turn your head a couple of times from side to side. Come back to center, lift the hips again, and this is the same thing, just turning the head side to side after every lift. And again, lifting a little bit higher, and you're going to your own height. Doesn't matter how many times you pause, you rock, and then you lift some more. But just go to a space that feels good for you. Remember, you're looking for no tension in your jaw, because that's the real watch sign that your body is having to work too hard or having to strain. So lifting, if you can, another turn of the head. And then when you come back down, I want you to come back down with the intention of bringing your bottom as close towards your heels as you can. So there's a real sense that you are lengthening the whole of the back body. And then turning your head from side to side again a couple more times. All right, so this is it. Like I said, its simplicity is beautiful, but it releases quite well the tightness that we get in the places where when we're stressed, when we're worried, when we're anxious, this is where we carry it around the upper part of the body and the spine. So we're going to do it again. So let's make sure turn the head side to side, just softly, not too quickly, and make sure that the jaw and the shoulders feel relaxed. Then you're lifting your hips just an inch or two, and again turning the head side to side a couple of times. Again, lift the hips and turn the head. And do this incrementally at your own pace, going as high as you can, but maintaining that release for the jaw. Good. And then when you've gone as high as you feel necessary, gently bringing the hips down. And when they come down to the mat, allowing the head to turn again side to side. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to now hug the knees in towards the chest. Have a little rock across the back body, because we don't want to put tension back in. We've worked our body nice, and we've worked intensively this morning in a really nice solid way. So we're going to let the body calm down slowly, but we don't want to allow tension to creep back in. So this lying twist needs to be done with it again with an air of simplicity and an intention for softness. So I'd like you to leave your feet off of the floor if you can, but know that if you need to make it easier, you put your feet down. Arms come out to the sides. We're coming into Jatara Parivartanasana, lying belly twist. So breathe in, and as you breathe out, let your knees fall to one side. Doesn't matter which side you choose to go. And slowly bring them down to the ground, and they've got to be able to rest, so they can't float midair. You want to be able to get your feet on the floor, and you want your knees to rest. You can use your hand to anchor the knees if you need to. However, watch what's happened to your jaw. Has any tension or any tightness crept in? So now your job is to release it by maybe use your elbows to shuffle your upper body around a little bit, so that the upper body, particularly the back of the shoulders, can feel relaxed. Can you then turn your head in the direction of your opposite arm
but only if that feels like it's a natural thing for your body, your spine, your neck to want to do. If not, just gaze upwards, it's fine. But keep the softness in the jaw. And if you're finding that you're here and you're unable to be here easily, then come out, rest for a moment, and start again. And find a different way to come into the pose, or a different variation on leg position or intensity of the rotation, to enable your body to stay in this really soft and calm place. Okay, another couple of breaths. And then we can release when you're ready by floating the top leg back up to the center and letting the bottom leg follow. Good job. Okay, if you want, hug your knees in, have a little rock from side to side. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, breathing in, and as you breathe out, gently rolling the knees over to the side. And using whatever props you need, blankets or arms to weigh knees down, whatever it is that makes you comfy. Shuffling upper body around if you need to, but staying with that soft release to the shoulders, the neck and the jaw particularly. The rest of the effects of the poses are just bonuses. We want to keep that lovely softness in. Can you breathe and enjoy the spaces that your breath is able to move into freely? Maybe you could consider that you're just gently wringing your body out. We lie in these reclining twist poses. They have a wonderful ability to press the reset button for the body. All right. So then when you feel ready, returning yourself back to a central position, hugging the knees in towards your chest. And when you're ready, sliding your feet away from you, down towards the end of the mat. The feet, the ankles a bit wider than the hips, toes rolling out wherever is comfortable. Front of the hips beginning to soften. Spine, shoulder blades supporting the upper back. Arms out to the sides if you can. Turn the palms up towards the ceiling and let the fingers curl softly. Once you find your nice easy position for Shavasana, turn your head from side to side a couple of times. And make sure that the neck feels at ease, that you've found that lovely symmetrical position for your head to rest at the top of the spine, for the jaw to be soft. Facial muscles releasing. Breathe with ease, the whole body sinking into the earth. We offer ourselves this moment to pause, to be still, this is a T.S. Eliot poem for you to maybe reflect on in your Shavasana. At the still point of the turning world, neither flesh nor fleshless, neither from nor towards. At the still point, there the dance is, where the past and future are gathered, neither movement from nor towards, neither ascent nor decline, except for the point, the still point. Okay, so I'd like you to bring your awareness back into the room that you are in. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And turn your head from side to side gently. Take a stretch, any way that feels good. And then you can gently bend your knees and roll yourself across to one side and come round and up to sit. So sitting comfortably, any way that feels good. Take your fingertips to the floor next to you. On an inhalation, sweep the arms all of the way up above your head, palms coming together. And then exhaling the hands down so that they can rest in front of your heart. Closing your eyes and just dropping your chin towards your chest. Keeping the gaze behind your eyelids soft, the forehead smooth and the jaw released. Think back to your intention all that time ago, right at the beginning of our practice. Allow that intention to inform and focus the rest of your day. Taking another breath in when it comes, opening your eyes. Well done, everyone. Namaste to you all. And have a very super rest of the day, indeed the weekend.